Hi there, everybody. I want to talk today a little bit about the TWSBI Vac 700. This is one of their pens that is really interesting because of the way the mechanism works, which I'll go through with you guys and show you. And it's also one of the more expensive plastic pens. Obviously, the most expensive right now is the Micarta at $100. This one is $80, and it is their plastic pen. So I'm going to show you this one. It is an amber extra fine, and I'll basically walk through it with you, and let's go from there. So here we have it, the box it comes in, as usual, the TWSBI box with the logo on it, and it's coating showing you its color and then nib size. Let's crack that open there, have a look. I love the way these pens are packed. They all look like Apple products. They're really cool. They've got a bunch of packaging here to make sure everything is safe, which I'll just remove to show you. And there you go, so all that, get out of the way. Comes with two manuals. Of course, the one showing you how to fill the TWSBI Vac 700. And then this one, which shows you how to carry and write with it. So there's only a finite amount of ink that can be held in the feed at any time. So if you're going to be writing for a long time, they recommend that you just unscrew, but not pull up, but unscrew the blind cap at the top to make sure that ink can flow into the nib section. However, otherwise, it's perfectly all right. As you move it around, it's like ink seeps past the seal there allowed into the feed. So if you're writing for a short period of time and then carrying it, you shouldn't have any issues. Of course, this is the O-ring replacement guide that they're showing you how to use and how to use the little tools that come with it. Don't worry, I'll get into all that. So here it is, the interesting part. This is the TWSBI Vac 700. Let's just crack it open there and pull those out. So that's the pen itself. As you can see, it's got TWSBI on the metal there. Unlike the 540, this is a matte finish clip. The tip, of course, has the TWSBI logo like it usually does, and on the back it says Vac 500, or excuse me, Vac 700. There you go. It uses a vacuumatic system, similar, of course, to the Visconti power fill system, where you unscrew the blind cap, pull this up, and then push it to create a negative amount of pressure back here. And once it reaches this small opening, it allows that negative pressure to be filled with whatever was below it. And if your nib, of course, is in ink, it pulls ink right up there. So for me, this is one of the simplest pens to fill. Great maintenance, really easy to do. So let's have a look. The nib is, I believe, a Bock nib, which is what they've switched to, and it is a bit bigger than the 540, but it is definitely a drier nib. The variation between extra fine and broad is much closer than they are with the 540s, where your extra fine to broad is a huge range in terms of width of your line. This one, not so much. I'd suggest you go online and have a look at those nib widths before you make your decision in terms of purchasing. Like the 540, the nib does come off. This gives it a little bit of a twist here, and you can remove that entire section altogether. However, I believe you can't remove the individual nib section, so unlike them, you'd actually have to buy it in the color that you're looking to replace it with. However, as of right now, TWSBI has not released the nib sets for these. The blind cap just unscrews, which is nice that it's a blind cap that doesn't really do anything, unlike the 540. When you post it, the cap actually sits onto the piston fill, and you can twist it just moving this. Now, the blind cap, first off, doesn't do anything because it uses a power fill system, and secondly, this ring actually addressed that problem. When you stick this on here, it sits on that ring, and if you twist it, it doesn't actually move the blind cap. It just twists on that piece of metal, which is very helpful, trust me, especially for those people that don't know how to use fountain pens very well or don't know what they do. They'll just go twisting and pulling and pushing at things without knowing what it actually is going on. So that's that. As you can see the mechanism on the inside there. You pull it up, it allows air to escape from the back into this section, but doesn't allow it to come the other way. So an interesting way to show this is that if you push it, it does come back a little. And then when it reaches this little curved section, everything escapes through the nib up into the top. So that's how that works in terms of filling, and it's brilliantly simple. It doesn't take any time. You just dip it in, or your ink bottle, of course, you just dip it in, push that, and you've got basically a half fill. You can then take out the rest of the air just by pushing up on it from this way until the ink's all the way into the feed, and then finishing it off, and it'll fill up all the way. But it's just so simple, so much faster than a piston fill. Just click it in, you're done, screw it back on, go back to writing like nothing happened. It, of course, is functional with the Diamond 50 filler. It does not use the straw section where it would clip in. That only works for the 540, so that's not something you can do with the 700. But the beauty of it is it does use the reservoir that it creates there to fill up. So there you have your your Vac 700. I just want to show you one more interesting thing about this product that some people might not know. I've actually had a few questions about this via email and on the website. How do I take it apart? There's this interesting little diagram about how to unscrew it, but where do I get the tool to do that? Well, what you might not know is that this section separates from the bottom of your case, and underneath you'll find three little things. You'll have a bottle of silicone oil that you can use to lubricate this piston in case it ever gets sticky, and the same with the two O-rings at the top here where that rod slides in and out. You can lubricate that with this bottle of oil. And then this is the TWSBI wrench. You check it out, and you pull out this blind cap. You'll notice, I hope you can see that there, you'll notice that there are little flattened spots. You see, if you're looking at it straight on, you can see it's got two flat spots that this would just hook right into, and then you can unscrew it. Once you've unscrewed it, it's very simple. It's actually even simpler than the Diamond 540 because it's just the piston, and all you'd have to do is replace the O-rings. It shows you exactly where they would go. And yeah, put a little bit of oil on it, you're all set. So keeping that in mind, when you get your pen, don't forget that there are small tools underneath the bottom of your case. All right, great. Well, that is the Vac 700. Thank you for joining us for this, and I hope it helped you make your decision when you're choosing your pen at alexanderpenco.com. Thanks.